بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So for this video, I wanted to record, I wanted to share with you an ayah from the Quran that's really touching for me. It talks about the truth of this world. It's good for Muslims to be reminded. It's good for myself to be reminded. It's good for non-Muslims to be reminded. Any non-Muslims that might be watching this, you know, you get to hear and listen to the Quran, and you get to read the translation, and inshallah we can discuss a little bit. So without further ado.
اعلموا أنما الحياة الدنيا لعب ولهو وزينة وتفاخر بينكم وتكاثر في الأموال والأولاد كمثل غيث أعجب الكفار نباته ثم يهيج فتراه مصفرا ثم يكون حطاما وفي الآخرة عذاب شديد ومغفرة من الله ورضوان وما الحياة الدنيا إلا متاع الغرور.
So let's read the English, inshallah. Okay, so know that the life of this world is only play and amusement, pomp and mutual boasting among you, and rivalry in respect of wealth and children. So already that's, Allah is telling us that that's what this life is. The dunya life. The dunya life, which is this temporary life where, there's no paradise in dunya. And anything that you gain in dunya, you lose when you die. All the money you might get, you don't take it with you inside the grave. Your family, you don't take with you inside the grave. Your cars and your food or whatever it is that you might have achieved in this life. If it's only for this life, you don't take it with you in the grave. And it reminds me of the pharaohs, because they wanted to be buried with their things, with their gold and even their animals, their servants, because what they gained in this life, they figured, hey, when when we come back for the next life, we'll have that too with us. But of course, that's ridiculous. So yeah, Allah is telling us, know that the life of this world is only play and amusement. You could say entertainment in this modern era. Entertainment, that's what a lot of people's lives really is. It's just on the phone or on the laptop, on the screens, constantly that dopamine rush, right? Constantly just trying to get high off the dopamine. It's also arrogance. It's also boasting. It's also rivalry, trying to one up each other. Keeping up with the Joneses. That's what it is for some people. The neighbor got a nice car. Now I need a nice car. My friend got some nice shoes, so now I need some nice shoes. And you're just constantly competing with each other. You're not happy until you're over someone else. Rivalry in respect of wealth and children. Yeah, I mean that's what it is, right? If that's what you're living for, then that's what it is. Alhamdulillah, as Muslims, we're not living for that. As the likeness of vegetation after rain, thereof the growth is pleasing to the tiller. Afterwards it dries up, and you see it turning yellow, then it becomes straw. So like that's this life, the rain comes down, and the vegetation grows, and you're happy for what you see. Like for instance, you work hard in school, you save up your money, you work hard in school, you graduate, you get a good job, you get a good education. So that's the vegetation growing. You sowed your seed and now you get to see it flourish, right? But, even if you become CEO, even if you become, very wealthy or whatever, you don't take it with you. It's going to disappear. You're going to have to retire. You're going to have to quit. For most people, they're going to have to quit, or they might lose a job. They might get fired. They might, just grow old or whatever. Same for the family. Family members die, parents die, kids die. You might lose your house, might burn up, or there might be like a hurricane, whatever. Things happen in your life, and whatever you achieved only in this world is gonna go, whether it's before you die or when you die. But in the hereafter, there is a severe torment for the disbelievers, evildoers, and there is forgiveness from Allah and His good pleasure for the believers, the good doers, whereas the life of this world is only a deceiving enjoyment. For those that die and all they reached for, all they tried to attain was this dunya, well, they don't take it with them, and all that's left for them is hellfire now never-ending torment. And for those of us, for the believers, there's forgiveness from Allah, because we all need forgiveness. None of us are perfect. We all make mistakes, and Allah's good pleasure awaits us. And Allah is telling us again, the life of this world is only a deceiving enjoyment. The dunya tricks you because you fall in love with it. You feel like it might last forever, especially if you're young. Feel like it might last forever. Young people die, yeah, but you're like, that's not gonna happen to me. You think old people die, so and getting old is so far from now, right? Like you might be 20, you might be 30, thinking, man, 80, 90, that's a long time from now. I'll worry about it when I get there, right? But obviously you could die before that, or once you get there, you look back, you're like, man, that went by too fast. Now you're 80, now you're 90. Now this is the last part of your life. Like you really need to, get things together. You really need to figure it out. But now it's hard because you maybe got dementia. Maybe, you're just so ingrained. You've been living a certain way for so long. Now it's hard to leave it. And you feel like, who are you? Maybe a young person tries to give you advice. Who are you to tell me what's right and wrong? I lived 90 years, right? So, yeah, that's this life. It just deceives you. And then you don't take it with you. Whatever women, whatever cars, whatever thing you got, when you die, it goes to someone else. And then they get deceived for their time on earth. So, yeah, alhamdulillah, happy to go through that verse. I'm going to go through another verse. Here's another verse. This is from Surah Al-Munafiqun, that relates to the previous verse from Surah Al-Hadid. And yeah, again, it's very powerful and it's a good reminder for us. So I'm going to let the Shaykh recite and then I'll translate again. I'll read the translation, inshallah.
وأنفقوا مما رزقناكم من قبل أن يأتي أحدكم الموت فيقول رب لولا أخرتني إلى أجل قريب فأصدق وأكن من الصالحين ولن يؤخر الله نفسا إذا جاء أجلها والله خبير بما تعملون.
Okay, so the translation is, and spend in charity of that which we have provided you before death comes to one of you, and he says, my Lord, if only you would give me a respite for a little while, then I should give zakah, I should give sadaqah of my wealth, charity, and be among the righteous. Like spend now, give in charity now, do good deeds now, before a time comes when you can't anymore, right? All good deeds come to an end. Like we know, this is a famous hadith, all good deeds come to an end except three. Ongoing charity, beneficial knowledge, and a righteous son who prays for him. Him or her. Righteous child who prays for him or her. So otherwise, all good deeds come to an end, right? So you can't give in charity after you died. You can't pray, after you died. You can't read Quran. You can't do the good deeds maybe you intended to do eventually. And that's another trap, of shaitan. Procrastination. I'll pray, not today, but I'll pray tomorrow. I'll pray next week. I'll pray when I'm ready. I'll pray when I'm older. Right now I'm young. Let me enjoy myself, right? Let me enjoy the dunya right now. I got a long way to go. When I'm 50, when I'm retired, when I'm 60, that's when I'll pray. it's really truly a trick because you don't know when you're gonna die. And if you wait that long to pray, what kind of Muslim are you gonna be at that point? Are you gonna even know anything? Are you even still gonna be Muslim? You might have left Islam by then. Basically, do the good that you can do it now. Don't delay it. Make the most out of this world because this world is just a traveling point. And this is another thing to think about. Like before we were born, we were souls. Allah took us out of the back of Adam, alayhi salatu wasalam. So we were souls. So how many, I don't know, 10,000, 100,000, however many thousands of years ago that was. So we've been souls. And then we were put into the womb of our mother for 9 months, right? And then, so that's another life. So we had the life of the soul, and then we had the life inside the womb. And then outside the womb, you might live to be 60, 70, 80, right? You might think that's long, but before you were a soul for thousands of years, right? And then after you die, now you're going to be in the grave for who knows how long, until the day of judgment. That could be another 100 years or another 1,000 years. And then you're raised on the day of judgment and you're there for 50,000 years, before the end of the day of judgment, before the day of judgment ends, 50,000 years. So this short life of that short 70 years, 60 years, it might be 20 years, however long you live in this dunya, it's very small, but it's extremely significant, right? Like it dictates the rest of our lives. So, the smart person, knowing that he might die at any point, he would do as much good as he can all the time, or as often as he can, at least have intentions, because deeds are based on intentions as well. So, you went to work, and while you're at work, you're doing dhikr, you're reminding yourself of Allah, trying to remind others of Allah, you're dressed appropriately, you have good language, you're thinking about what you want to do, after work, like the good that you want to do. During your break time, you pray, you can pray Dhuhr, inshallah, at the masjid. Maybe you fast some days, like this is the thing you do. Or you eat your food, you're saying Bismillah, eating halal and tayyiban, eating good food. You're not taking part in the shirk that other people are taking part in, the Christmas gifts and things like that. You avoid those things, in a respectful manner. You inform them as best as you can, to the best of your ability. And then constantly you're still making adhkar through the day. So that's a good day. And then after work, you spend time with your family and remind them of Allah, or you go to the masjid, you read Quran. So that's a good day. As opposed to not doing that, you're working a haram job and you're not reminding of Allah, you're constantly listening to music, you're distracted. After work, you just come home and you watch TV, and just lay down on the couch. You don't want to be bothered by anybody, maybe you go to the bar or whatever, So that's a bad life, right? You don't want to die that way. And spend in charity of that which we have provided you before death comes to one of you, and he says, my Lord, if only you would give me respite for a little while. Meaning, give me just a little more time, return me to this life, right? But that's the thing, that's subhanAllah, that's the scary thing. Like, when we die, I hope we're not one of those who says, Ya Allah, please send me back so I can do good. I promise I'll do good. Like, there is no going back. There is no second chance. All the second and thousands of chances are in this life right now. So we really got to make the most of it right now. Because once we die, that's it. There is no second chance. And you don't know when you're going to die. So live in this world as though you're going to live forever. But prepare for the next world as though you're going to die anytime. Give me respite for a little while, then I should give charity of my wealth and be among the righteous. Send me back and then I'll be good. I promise I'll be good this time. And Allah grants respite to none when his appointed time death comes, and Allah is all aware of what you do. Meaning, that's it. Once you die, that's it. There's no going back. And Allah knows what's really in your heart, really what's in your mind. Like when you keep telling yourself day after day, year after year, oh, I'm going to do good. I'm going to do good. Allah knows whether or not you mean it. If you were to live 1,000 years, would you eventually do good? Yeah, so that's the end of the video. Alhamdulillah. Those are 2 verses from the Quran, 2 very powerful verses I think we can reflect on, whether you're Muslim or non-Muslim, because death will come to you anyways. Whether you're Muslim or non-Muslim, death does not discriminate in that regard. So let's work hard in this life to earn the good that's in this life, and let's prepare for the next life, for the judgment that's to come. Jazakallahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.